Hey, I'm Noam Weissman, and you're listening to Unpacking Israeli History, the podcast that takes a deep dive into some of the most intense, historically fascinating, and often misunderstood events and stories surrounding Israeli history. And yes, you hear my voice, which means we're back. That's right. Next week starts season 6 of Unpacking Israeli History. Buckle your seatbelts. The last few months, I barely have words for them. Israel will never be the same. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict will never be the same. The Jewish story will never be the same. The Jewish people will never be the same. I will never be the same. Here's what I find fascinating and perplexing. History happened in the past, right? So the telling of the history shouldn't really change. It should be pretty solid. But that's not the way history works. The present becomes crystallized when we look into our past. And the past becomes crystallized when we look at the present. Israel has always been a hot topic. Since this show started almost 4 years ago, we've received thousands of comments and emails from people who have stumbled upon the show because they were curious. They read the news, they studied a bit about Israel, but felt like it was time to learn the deeper story. But I'll be honest with you, maybe you're not surprised by this. The numbers have tripled. The downloads, the listens, the emails, the quench to learn about Israel has been insatiable, which we're grateful for, of course, don't get me wrong. But in some ways, it's such an awful feeling. If given the choice, of course, I'd rather have no listeners at all if it meant I could undo the events of the last few months. But October 7th happened. Israel is in the news. People have strong feelings about Israel either way. My team and I keep saying to each other that in some ways, this season 6, isn't going to be about October 7th at all. There are enough influencers, pundits, oracles out there to weigh in and tell us what to think about 10/7 and Israel's response. So we are not going that route. But in other ways, this season is going to be all about the events of October 7th. Because honestly, how could it not? It's the lens through which I see and experience the world. It's in every breath I take, every waking moment. And I don't think I'm alone here. People are out in the streets protesting, shouting, crying, demanding. In order to understand the present, we have to study the past. So get ready for season 6, episode 1 dropping next week. And in the meantime, you can brush up on past episodes and learn Israeli history by listening exactly where you're listening to this now. And of course, email me at noam@jewishunpack.com. As you know, your letter might even make it on the show. So Yalla, let's do this.